Chapter 42. Rush. Chief Inspector Mark Rush was in charge of the anti-gang task force. He was the only officer within the Bedfordshire force who knew about the Cherub operation and had met regularly with Chloe and Maureen since the mission began 4 months earlier. He'd watched the Cherub agents on surveillance operations and been involved in Michael's arrest and questioning after the death of Owen Campbell Moore, but he'd never spoken to any of the teenagers directly. Now that the mission was coming to its close, Inspector Rush asked to meet the agents, including Gabriel, so that he could say thanks and brief them on the final takedown. Chloe agreed, but to minimise the chances of everyone being seen together, she set up the meeting in the private function room of an Italian restaurant on the outskirts of London, half an hour from Luton. 5 days had passed since Junior got busted, and James was still beating himself up about it. He was also missing Dana, and weighed down with guilt about sleeping with Lois. His worst moment had been in Sasha's basement the evening after Junior got nabbed, with the entire crew reenacting Junior's "I'm not a baby" speech and laughing about his rotten luck. Still, the plush restaurant cheered James up, and the chubby chief inspector arrived, bearing gifts. "Haven't got kids," he explained, as he pulled 4 envelopes out of his bomber jacket. "I've got no idea what you'd like, so I copped out and got gift vouchers. You can get games, books, or whatever." James smiled as he opened his envelope and joined in the round of thanks as the inspector sat down and opened a menu. "Did you get here all right?" Chloe asked. "No probs," the inspector said. He looked at Gabriel. "How are you feeling now? I lost a couple of nights' sleep over you." "Not bad," Gabriel smiled. "I had a hospital appointment yesterday. The doctor seemed happy with the way everything's healing. I've been doing some brisk walking on campus to help get my strength back, but I still get sore if I try anything too vigorous." "Have you got any good scars?" Bruce asked. "More than you," Gabriel shot back. "I'm visiting a cosmetic surgeon who's going to see if there's anything they can do to cover the scars. Like skin grafts or something." "I reckon they should leave them alone," Michael said, as he smiled at his girlfriend. "They're part of you now." "Give us a look then," Bruce said. Gabrielle stood and gathered up her waist-hugging t-shirt, revealing the 3 pink scars across her belly, each one crisscrossed with faint stitch marks. Then she twirled to show the puncture mark in her back. "I thought you only got stabbed twice," James said, confused. "They had to make extra incisions when they tied all of her tubes back together," Michael said. He took Gabrielle's hand and kissed her neck as she sat down. "You're the most beautiful girl in the world," he said softly. "I've got a massive scar on my leg," Bruce said, as he started pulling up the leg of his tracksuit bottoms. "Put it away," Chloe said firmly. "We're here for a relaxing meal and a briefing on tomorrow's operation. I don't want to see any more scars." "That's good," Inspector Rush grinned, "'cause the only one I've got is on my bum." The inspector was trying too hard to ingratiate himself with the kids, and his joke went flat. But the waitress came in to break the awkward silence. James eyed her tight black trousers as she took orders and gathered up menus. "So, Inspector," Chloe said as the waitress stepped out, "perhaps you can give us a rundown on what's happening tomorrow?" "I'm in my civvies, so call me Mark," the inspector asked. "In essence, the plan is straightforward. Simeon Benteen has revealed that Major D gets a regular shipment of cocaine hidden inside drums of cooking oil that are shipped from the USA by container. I thought D's contacts were in Jamaica, James said. They are, Chloe explained. We're not sure exactly how the smuggling operation works, but customs are hot on shipments from the Caribbean, whereas canned goods from the USA are much less likely to be searched. The cocaine is probably brought on board the container ship in a small boat mid-Atlantic. Then they throw the real drums of cooking oil over the side and replace them with drums partially filled with cocaine. From a technical point of view, it's pretty clever, Maureen added. The tins are airtight, so there's no way anything can be picked up by sniffer dogs or electronic systems. A container filled with metal cans is also very difficult to image electronically, and the only way for customs to inspect what's inside a drum is to break the seal, which will spoil the produce. It's the kind of racket that you'll only ever stop by getting inside information, the inspector said. So even if we fail to nab our major suspects tomorrow, we'll still seriously degrade their ability to bring cocaine into this country. Officers from the Leicestershire Force have already installed surveillance equipment in the warehouse where the deal is going down, but they had to tread carefully because Sasha Thompson and his boys have also been staking the joint out. That's good though, Michael said. It means they're definitely planning to show. The inspector continued. All being well, Simeon reckons the container will land at Dover around midnight tonight. It'll be picked up on a truck and driven to the warehouse for a meeting between the smugglers and Major D's crew. The container ports get congested, so they could arrive at the warehouse any time between 9 and 11 tomorrow morning. Are the smugglers slasher boys? James asked. They're not part of Major D's crew, but they have links with his associates in Jamaica. Simeon says it's cash on delivery, Maureen noted, so they're certainly not that close. Once the container's delivered, it will take 10 to 15 minutes to unload the drums containing the drugs, the inspector said. The drums that are removed will be replaced with real drums of cooking oil, and the truck driver will take the container on to its destination. And that's when Sasha Thompson makes his move, Bruce said. Exactly, the inspector nodded. Sasha doesn't have the time or manpower to go through the whole container trying to find the drugs, but he's going to want to get his hands on the drugs and the money. That means the Mad Dogs have to make their move in the short window after the drugs have been separated from the container cargo, but before the smugglers drive off with their money. But of course, as Simeon has also tipped Major D off about the robbery, this is going to be the point where all hell breaks loose. We're talking about two highly armed gangs going into an all-out battle. I'm guessing a dozen men on the Mad Dog side, all with guns, and probably double that number of slasher boys. Total carnage, Bruce gloated, clearly relishing the prospect. But Chloe wasn't smiling. I don't like that attitude, Bruce. More than 20 people have died. Gabriel was almost one of them. You four have got to make sure you're not inside that warehouse when the shooting starts. We're going to have 62 firearms officers on the scene, including several we've seconded from London, the inspector said. But it's too risky to send officers into the warehouse against more than 30 criminals armed with automatic and semi-automatic weapons. If we can safely make arrests at the scene, we will, but we don't want to end up with a siege on our hands, so we'll be using a soft cordon. Some suspects will get out of the warehouse and be tracked by helicopter surveillance and vehicle pursuit teams. We have addresses for most gang members and will be swooping on any that make it home. Our target is to arrest every Mad Dog and Slasher Boy that comes within a kilometre of that warehouse, without any officers getting hurt. We've set up 2 special operations rooms to charge and question members from both gangs. I've also got 2 major crime scene forensic units from the smoke who are going to seal the area tight and pick up every footprint, fingerprint, and DNA speck in and around that warehouse. I want Major D and Sasha Thompson behind bars and their respective gangs completely crushed. Sounds good. Gabriel smiled. So where do we fit in? James asked. Information, Inspector Rush said. We obviously don't want you getting hurt, but you 3 boys are the only reliable people we have inside the gangs. If we're inside, Bruce said. Sasha's hardly spoken to me and James in the last week. I've asked if he's going to put more work our way, and he keeps brushing us off. He's probably been busy organising the robbery, Chloe said. The Mad Dogs are a small crew. I don't see how they can ignore you 2 after you did so well with the hard front. I'm definitely okay, Michael said. Major D's already told me we're going out to nail Sasha tomorrow. He wants me on the roof of the warehouse keeping lookout. I can either hunker down or sneak off before it turns nasty. Make sure you do, Maureen said. Assuming that we do get invited to the party, what kind of information are you looking for? James asked. I need you boys to tell me how many people Sasha's bringing, how many cars, what weapons they're using. The Mad Dogs usually communicate with walkie-talkies. If you can tell us what frequency they're transmitting on, we can earwig everything they do and record it to use as evidence. I'll see what I can do, James said. But it won't be easy, Bruce added. I mean, we might be able to send a few sneaky text messages or a quick call from a bathroom, but we can't be having 10-minute phone conversations about everything that's going on. Dialing and connection makes phones slow, Chloe said. I've got some miniature transceivers coming down from campus. They're disguised as sticking plasters. They're voice activated, so you just stick one on your wrist and it picks up your voice if you push down and speak within 10 centimeters of the pad. They're low power, so the signal range is only about 1 kilometer, but Maureen and I will be close to the warehouse. It'll look dodgy if me and James have both suddenly got plasters though, Bruce noted. It's not a problem, Gabriel said. I've used them on another mission. You can stick them on clothes, like inside your lapel, or the cuff of a shirt. Only thing is, they're much stickier than real plasters, so don't put them anywhere hairy or you'll know all about it when you rip them off. Wheels called James up as Chloe drove them back from the restaurant. Where are you? Wheels asked. London, James lied, giving the first excuse for being out of town that came into his head and then scrambling to justify it. Me and Bruce got fed up hanging around the zoo and decided to splash some of the cash we made in the West End. Shit, Wheels said. Can you get back here? Sasha's got some business for you tomorrow. Excellent, James said. What are we talking about? He's keeping it close, Wheels said. But he's been working his guts out. He's got Savis working on 3 vans, and he's called in the Kruger brothers. You wouldn't know them because they're semi-retired, but they've just flown in, which can only mean something massive is going down. Any idea how much we're talking about? $5,000 apiece for you and Bruce. More if it goes well. But we need you back here ASAP. Sasha wants you both to have passport photos taken. What for? No idea, James. Sasha's giving us all different jobs and keeping everything under his hat. Right now I'm heading over to pick up a fast motor. You'd better get the first train back to Luton. Both of you get your pictures taken in the photo booth, and I'll send someone over to pick them up. You should be able to get a train from King's Cross and be there by 2:30. Sounds okay. What? But the other end of his call had gone dead. You'll have to drop us at a station somewhere, so it looks like we're coming back from London. Bruce tutted. We're only a few miles out of town, you knob. Why did you say London? Because he put me on the spot, James said irritably. And he wants our photos taken. How weird is that? Chloe rolled out her bottom lip. Sounds odd. You must be going in under disguise, wearing ID badges or something. And Wheels mentioned a name I haven't heard before. The Kruger brothers. Does it mean anything to you? Oh, and he said Savis was preparing 3 vans and Wheels was picking up a fast motor. In my book, that means he's going to be sending in more men than we were expecting. That's good, Bruce said. More crooks to catch. Chloe nodded. Headache for Inspector Rush, though. We'd better tell him he needs more manpower.